What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Casuals. I'm Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about an anime called Alderamin on the Sky, which came out back in 2016 and is in desperate need of a new season. Today we'll be talking about how Alderamin on the Sky made one of the best tragic heroes in anime with Ikta Solork. You see, Ikta is lazy and is mostly found laid back or sleeping. He even decides to help his childhood friend Yatori Iksum get to the top of the military exams in exchange for her family pulling some strings to get him a comfy job for the rest of his life. The thing about Ikta is he has a brilliant mind and is shown to be a strategic genius when it comes to war. I think the main reason I really like Ikta is that he is a reluctant hero, meaning he was thrusted into a situation where he had to act, and once it was shown how competent he was forced to join the military as an Imperial Knight. This reminds me a lot of Amuro Ray from Mobile Suit Gundam, who is nothing more than a bystander in a war he never wanted to be a part of. Now you might be asking yourself, why are you only talking about Ikta? Well, Ikta is the reason why this anime is so special. You see, a lot of anime cover the atrocities of war, we all know that by now, but what Alderamin does so well is ask, who is in the right, and who is in the wrong? Now, let me explain. Early on in the season, the Kyokan Empire goes to war with the Kachvarna Empire, which Ikta is a part of. One of the first interactions we get with the Kyokans are when a scouting regiment interacts with Ikta and his group after they are washed away from a shipwreck into Kyokan territory. The Kyokans were actually very eager to help the group, were very nice, yet Ikta and his group killed them. Now this was mostly because they had the princess of the Kachvarna Empire with them at the time, so if they were taken she would have been used as leverage, but having the anime humanize the enemy by the second episode was really shocking to me and made me feel real empathy for the soldiers. In fact, Ikta shows tremendous remorse, even going so far as to give them proper burials. So the reason why I'm mainly focusing on Ikta for this video is because even though his friends are on the side of the Kachvarna Empire, he's still able to see where the other side is coming from, even going so far as to claim war is unscientific in its approach. Ikta grew up around scientists, and the head of these scientists was Dr. Honorai Khan, who ended up defecting to the Kyokan Empire, and is one of the main reasons why the Kyokans have such incredible technology. It's even hinted by the soldiers that Ikta and his friends killed that it wasn't uncommon to see asylum seekers from the Kachvarna Empire. I always love when there's not a clear side in anime. You know how in some shows there's that uninhibited mean person who's just a dick for the hell of it, but they're only there to give the main character something to rage about, or, you know, us, the audience? Well, the thing is, the only people that are like that in this anime are all part of the Kachvarna Empire, like the Emperor and his daughter. Now, Princess Camille does eventually start to come around, but it takes Ikta going nuts on her and some traitorous soldiers who wanted revenge for their captain, who was sent to his death by the hands of her father, for her to finally realize that her side might not be the right one. One inhumane yet effective tactic in war is to dehumanize the enemy so that it is easier to kill them, yet Ikta and a lot of the characters in this are always wondering why they're fighting these people. Even though there are some generals at the top who use this tactic, it is clear that their lack of empathy also stops them from being able to predict the enemy's movements, which is where Ikta comes in. The reason why I call Ikta a tragic hero is that it's an allusion to Albert Camus and his writing on the myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus was, in a nutshell, punished by the gods to roll a boulder up a hill for all of eternity. The boulder magically always falls back down, therefore the task will never be completed. Camus says we must imagine Sisyphus is happy since he sees the absurdity of life and still accepts his task, not living ignorantly, but also not delving into despair, which is why Camus calls him the absurd hero. The reason I use tragic hero when talking about Ikta is that he is not satisfied with simple arguments like, we had to because we were told to. If you cannot give a proper explanation for why you're doing something, then he won't accept your answer. He's tragic because he's recognized what he is put into this war to do, yet he cannot accept the absurdity of having to do things based on politics. Hence he is tragic, and I cannot imagine him as happy in this anime, which makes me want to see a frickin' season 2. So I have been as vague as I can in describing why this series is so good and describing Ikta Solork, so that if you haven't watched it, maybe you'll take a look and maybe we'll finally get a season 2, and if you have watched it already, you know why this deserves a season 2. In the description box down below, there is a link to our link tree where you can find all things casual. Also feel free to email us at animecasuals with an S, real, R-E-A-L, @gmail.com if you guys have any requests, or just go to our discussions tab on our YouTube channel. As always, guys, don't forget to keep it casual.